soon as I can find them. We'll start with Mr. Hendries. Watauga County schools are often among the top 2 or 3 in the state. We're very lucky to have a strong superintendent, great staff, and strong parent support. What can you bring to the Board of Education?
Well, started teaching back in 1973. I teach special education. My background is in exceptional children's programs. I went from there to an assistant principalship at Hardin Park, and then the principalship of Coke Creek and Bethel Elementary Schools. Spent 17 years as principal of those 2 schools. I've been on the board for the last, I've spent 6 years on the board. I now teach in the College of Education, and I teach teachers how to teach. Teachers of all different disciplines have to take the course that I teach, which is creating inclusive learning communities. So I feel like I have a good background in education and helping teachers become better and working with children.
I think there's 2 things that I bring to the Board of Education. One is experience and one is heart. I'll start with the heart component because I think you have to really care about kids. It has to mean something to you for you to be an effective person anytime you deal with education. I'm not a real verbal person. I mean, I'm not an extrovert. I'm an introvert, and I'm a worker. I work hard. I'm not showing, but I work hard at what I do. And as far as experience, I have been a teacher assistant. I worked as a Head Start teacher assistant. I worked as a K-2 teacher assistant. I worked as a special education teacher assistant, and then went back and got my degree as I was working, became a teacher, worked in Avery County, and then went from Avery County to Wake County, back to Watauga County, and became a principal. Just recently retired after 40 years. Thank you.
Ms. Kinsey.
I am not a native, but I chose to be here, and I've been here for 40, I can't figure it all up, since 1969, and I had taught a son in Texas before I came up there. So the fact that Winston and I did have a terrific inauguration of the boom winter. And I kept saying, God, just let us get through this winter and we'll go back to Texas where we're supposed to be. We're not supposed to be here. But we got through and learned so much about the people, about the culture, about all the things that we had in store for us. My main reason for choosing to run for school board 4 years ago was that I have a passion, as Brenda said, for kids. Retiring does not get you out. It doesn't change your life. You just try to find new ways to get into the presence of children.
All right, here's a question submitted from the audience. One of our problems in our education system is too many administrative positions which create extra work for our teachers. Would you support examining all the administrative positions and cutting those that do not enhance the positive attributes of our education system?
At this time, I would be hard pressed, at least in Watauga County Schools, to say we have an administrative position that we need to get rid of. In fact, I can see places where we could use additional help. When Common Core came on place from the state and all our teachers had to learn to do it, it was every subject, every grade level, every teacher at one time. And to do something like that, you need professional development. You need someone to help hold your hand and help guide you through that. And our central office has really worked hard and diligently to be able to try to provide those services to our teachers. And it's quite a feat.
Ms. Kinsey.
In normal school districts, I would say, yes, let's try to cut it to the bone, but we have such an outstanding staff at our central office, and as a matter of fact, about 3-4 years ago, we went through an incredible it's just amazing how well it works. Our employees and the people who are heading those offices, we have so many different titles, I can't even think about them, are just incredible individuals and very smart and very compassionate.
Mr. Hendricks?
This is I don't want to use a word as strong as myth, but it's a pervasive thought that's been around for probably the last 20 years. And in those 20 years, the state legislature has cut administrative positions to the school systems year after year after year. We probably have a third less administrators at our county office right now than we did 10, 15 years ago. And they continue to defund central office positions. So I don't know who starts this stuff about administrators ruling the world, but we don't have near as many of them as we did a few years ago.
Well, still there are challenges every school district faces. What is the one that concerns you the most? And what is your solution, Ms. Kingston?
Oh, goodness. It's for our district, this 4-year term that I have served, and each of us up here have done the same thing. It has been organizing the central office, dealing with personnel shifts. We've had some hard stuff to deal with, but we came out of it shining, just everybody happy as can be, but that's part of it, is the mixing around personnel, not only in the central office, but the schools.
Mr. Hendricks?
Would you repeat the question?
There are challenges every school district faces. What is the one that concerns you the most, and what is your solution?
There are two. First of all, Watauga County is the #1 school district in our region, but we have the lowest percentage of student participation in that whole region. Only 82% of the kids that could be attending Watauga County schools are attending this great school system. That bothers me a lot. That means that we have kids that are attending either private school, charter school, home school. They're choosing some other way to get their education. I think we have to change what we're doing to become more competitive so that we can attract those kids back into the public school system. The other is the dropout rate. And I think we need
I think the biggest challenge that hits me in the face when I think about it is being able to provide the type of support that all of our teachers need across the board. I worked on the budget committee with us last year, so I know how tight budgets are. I know how budgets have been cut over the years. So there's a way, it's not just financial support for teachers, but making sure that they know that we believe in them and that they can come to us when they have a need. And, I have always given my teachers, when I was a principal, a list of needs, wants, and dreams. And we do our best to try to fill all those needs, but sometimes because of the way line items are written, we might be able to fill a dream when we couldn't fill a need. So I really think with coming up shortages in math teachers, science teachers, special ed teachers, and just with the pay scale for teachers in the state of North Carolina, us being able to keep good quality people here, we have got to value our teachers and try to help them every way we can, and that's part of the reason why I do support our central office staff.
All right, the district has a number of capital needs. Can you prioritize what needs to be done first? Mr. Hendricks?
There's probably too many to prioritize them right away. But what I'm going to say is this. We've got about 5 buildings in this county that were built in 1940. We've got buildings that are 80 years old. The underpinnings of those buildings are wood. They're held up with wooden structures. Anybody that would go underneath the floor at Valley Cruises would probably have a heart attack seeing what that looks like. We've got an 80-year-old school at Bethel. We've got a building at Blowing Rock that's that way. Valley Cruises is in a floodplain. The list of capital needs that we need to fix over the next 10 or 15 years is incredible. We're working diligently with the commissioners. We've taken them on tours. We've shown them what needs to be done. And we're hoping that in the near future we can start working on fixing some of these problems.
Ms. Reed?
I'm very pleased to have Danny Clark as a new maintenance person, and working with others to come up with a capital improvement plan for the system. So we actually know what the current status is of each one of our facilities and try to make a long-range plan. Pray for a fairy godmother or someone to come along with the funding, but, you know, what needs to be first? What's the greatest need? How can we maintain while we're trying to take care of some of these bigger needs? And, you know, we're actually going to have to look at some new schools. There's just no way around it. If you listen to the number of years that Ron was saying, some of our facilities have already been used.
Of course, that tells you how old Mr. Henry is. He can talk about any of it. One thing we have done this year and last year particularly, Dr. Scott Elliott, who is the most wonderful superintendent you've ever he's taken us along. He took us all at the same time on a tour of the schools in the county, and that was amazing. It was frightening, it was enlightening and delighting at the same time to see what schools have done with practically nothing. But we don't want our children to be housed in those kinds of schools. So we hope that some capital events will be started this year, and we look forward to it.
Well, that leads me to the question, do we need to have a bond referendum to get this underway?
Yes.
Cerise?
Yes. I mean, we really have patched and tried to make do and reach a point. I mean, this is not an inexpensive matter. Anytime you build a school, it takes lots and lots of money. So I know that that's not what everybody would prefer to have happen, but I do believe we need one.
Ms. Kinsey?
Same question. Yes, we move forward. I think I mentioned that some of the schools were frightening to go in, particularly Valley Crucis. If you go into that lower hell region under the building, the old part, that has caused lots of flooding and settling of the building and so forth. It's really frightening. And there are some participatory areas down there which students can come in. So it's, we can point out interesting places in each of the schools. Urge you to come have opportunities.
Mr. Hendricks?
Funding for schools, obviously, the school board is not a funding agency. We receive money from the county commissioners when it comes to capital improvements. A bond referendum is one way to do that. It allows people to vote on the issue, and that's a good way because we want people to be in support of it. There are other ways, but I think it's imperative that the board work with the commissioners and where they find whatever method for funding these schools they're comfortable with, and we'll go along with whichever way they want to do it as long as we can get something done.
Here's a question from the audience. To save all county taxpayers, shouldn't you close Bethel Elementary given the size of its student population? Ms. Kinsey?
That's a tough one. That's been discussed in this community. Those of you who have been here a while know there are pros and there are cons, and we've got to work through all of both sides, and we haven't done that completely. Mr. Henry is the expert on that school, and he can probably guide us as we make our decision. It's not in front of us right now, but we know we're going to have to make a decision.
The difference between Bethel School and Mabel School in enrollment's about 5 kids. So if you're going to close one, you might as well close the other one too. So you're talking about 2 communities there. I was principal at Bethel School for 9 years. If you leave where we're sitting and you go to Bethel, when you get to Cove Creek, you're halfway there. It's 9 more miles to Bethel School. It's a long way for little kids to be transported. It's a great school. It's, for its age, it's in fairly decent. It's not even near the top of our list of capital improvements. it's a great school. No, I wouldn't recommend closing it all unless we're gonna close Maple, and then I guess Cove Creek would be next on the list, and what's next, so, no, that's not a feasible idea, in my opinion. I'm biased, I'm sorry. I'm biased, I'll vote for that.
Well, having been principal at Maple, I'm biased too. And I mean, we've got basically the same number of kids at the two schools now. I don't see closing either one of those schools. And you know, one of the things that happens is every school has its own personality. It has its own unique qualities. We want to be a school system where there are some things that are uniform with each school, but there's also that special personality, special traits of each individual community. And I can't imagine Bethel not being in an uproar if that school was attempted to close it. The same thing for the Maple community, same thing for Cove Creek. We have a lot of good things going, and you know, there's been a lot of really pretty neat people that have come out of the Bethel and Maple communities.
Many people.
Again, talking about the standardized test, you put too much emphasis on the standardized test, and what would be something that would be better?
When you say we put too much emphasis on the standardized test, I think that most teachers would be delighted to get rid of much of that standardized testing, that it's dictated to us. It's one of those things that we have to get through and get accomplished. Good teachers usually know that the standardized test is going to tell them before the kids take the test. You also know sometimes you have that child that just works her heart out or his heart out, but they're not test takers. And they get that score back and they're totally deflated. Or you have teachers that you know are really, really great teachers, and at the end of the year those scores come back and they don't match all the work, hard work and effort, and they've gone into that classroom, which can be really discouraging. So I'm hoping that the people that go to Raleigh that make these decisions for us listen to us when we say there's got to be a better way.
Ms. Kinsey?
There are numerous ways. The tests are constricting, they are confining, they only test a certain amount of a certain activity. So this does not reflect the quality of a lot of students that we have. But they do give way, and there are lots of suggestions even to these that I am seeing. Lots of suggestions for doing these from the ordinary kinds of things. It's quite often students can be so influenced. What is this? There's something going on, taking even verbs, conjugating. I think that's good. That's important.
Standardized testing is a result. Teachers didn't design or decide to give standardized tests. It came from primarily the business community that wanted some reassurance that the kids going through school were progressing, and that we could prove that the money spent on public schools was going where it should go, and the kids were gaining an education. We didn't invent this, we didn't want it, but it's a fact of life. I honestly believe that the formative assessments that teachers do with their students on a weekly basis or a daily basis give us a lot more information. Teachers can sit down with a parent and tell them a lot more about their child, about the things they've seen going in the classroom than the numbers on a standardized test. But it's a balancing act. We have to prove to the legislature that we're worth our money, and to the business community, as well as prove to parents that their child is progressing in the school system. So it's a balancing act that we have to do.
Okay, what is your vision for teacher recruitment and retention?
We have really gotten into that topic. We talked about it a lot. We discussed how important it is, and that's something that's new for us. Because in our schools, we always think we're going to get the best, the creme de la creme of ASU and so forth. It's not that way now. Not that ASU students don't like us. They just have other plans for their lives, and they go in a different direction. So we literally have to get send out material that is developed essential for doing as we like to say. And it really is a good thing because students who are contemplating coming here like to actually talk to someone rather than just go. So we're limited, but we're thinking.
Our new strategic plan, our goal, our vision is that Watauga County Week Schools will be the best place in North Carolina to learn and work. And we really mean that. That's what we're working towards. We are suffering in trying to find people, particularly in the areas of math, science, and special education. Those are high need areas. I supervise special education student teachers. The last 12 or 15 that I have supervised, I've not had one of them apply in Watauga County. I've got one right now that I'm courting to try to get her to apply in Watauga County. It is very difficult because other systems offer bigger supplements, or these students just want to go home when they graduate. They have a lot of reasons for not wanting to stay here. And we're trying every way we can to get the best and brightest of these kids to come here, as well as people that want to move to the area that already have some experience.
At one time, ASU students wouldn't even apply for Watauga County because they'd say, oh, you can't get in there. Well, you can't, a lot of Appalachian students can get in here. Please apply. But I think we are going to have to do a better job of communicating and sharing this information and sharing the story of Watauga County schools and focus on what is so right in so many places. One of the things that Dr. Elliott did this year was challenge our teachers to a Twitter challenge. And that Twitter feed is showing all the great and wonderful things that are taking place in every one of our schools every day. And so I think we've got to do a better job of getting that out to potential employees, teachers that might come our way if they really understood what Watauga County Schools is all about.
All right, there are a number of students who are never going to go to college. They're just not equipped for it, or they don't have any interest, but they do want to be prepared for the world tour, have a career that makes a decent job. What philosophy do you have that is best suited for that student?
We have a philosophy we haven't too bad at Watauga High School right now, and that is the industrial arts and so forth. We have this building that we do. We just got all the things that we wanted to get, and we have a remarkable technology area. In the back and then underneath, there's like a double basement in the back. So we have lots of students who are taking those programs. They also can connect with Congo Community College and at the same time get credit in many cases. So we have dual credit in those areas. That means when they get out talking, they are already very well qualified to do what they want to do for the most part. For other students, our accelerated program is just taken off. It's like, oh, we're birds and you can fly. Different subject matters, unusual subject matters. Somebody was talking about classes, where kids can just really be their true selves. We are developing some of those fun classes that challenge their brains. It's called movement.
Mr. Andrews?
I want to expand a little bit on what Ms. Kinsey had to say. Recently, last year was the first year of our Watauga Innovative Academy, and we have a cooperative agreement with the Congo Community College now where students can take vocational and highly technical vocational courses on the Watauga School campus free of charge and get college credit for it. That's the only school in the state that's doing it right now. It's an unbelievable thing that some of these kids will be able to get associate arts degrees by the time they leave Watauga High School in just a couple of years. So I'm exceptionally proud of that. We've also got an alternative learning program in Watauga High School that kids that can't meet the regular school day can take classes at different times during the day in the evening or at different schedules during the day, on and off during the day to meet their schedule because of one reason or another. And that's is going to be a highly successful program too. So I think all of those are working towards those vocational efforts, and we're not just a college prep program.
And I think one of the things that Ron just mentioned is the fact that those courses are free. This is saving parents a great deal of money. College courses or any kind of training like that is very expensive. A lot of our students are able to come out of the high school with licensures and certificates. Again, it goes back to spreading the word, just like in our Board of Education meetings, we've had a lot of students recognized in front of the board for their completion of these classes and awards they've won in the state. We have a lot of state and even a few national winners in these different areas.
All right, Mr. Andrew, you allowed this question to start. School security is a concern these days in light of recent shootings across the country. What, if anything, should our schools be doing more to protect our schools?
We have a couple of things. First of all of our schools now have a check-in system where you have to stop out front of the school and ring a buzzer, and somebody looks you over before you're admitted to the school. So the days of just open doors coming in and out of the school is no longer. We have a cooperative effort with the Boone City Police, with the Point Rock City Police, and Watauga County Sheriff's Department on doing safety checks in our schools to help us to make sure that we're operating as safely as possible. We also have a board member, Mr. Jason Cornett, who is a police officer on the ASU campus. He's a security expert as well, and so he gives us a lot of help on the board in working with the security within our schools.
I think one of the most important things is that collaboration with our law enforcement, especially knowing how far out into the county some of our schools, such as Bethel and Mabel, are. I'm very proud of the fact that we do have safety plans for each one of our schools. I said I hated like crazy what happened in Connecticut. However, there were some good things that came out of it for all the for schools in the state of North Carolina as we really work to have effective, cohesive safety plans in place for any kind of emergency that just then on a day-to-day basis. Probably as a principal, the one area I ran into more often than anything else was when we had custodial parents we didn't know who was supposed to pick up the child, or they were fighting over coming and picking up a child at school. So those are the kinds of immediate things that I think probably would face Watauga County schools more than some of the other kinds of issues.
To that, yeah. Not only do we have a lot of service excellence in operation all around, we have ones where people don't see them necessarily as they come to the school. Sometimes people can. If it's late in the afternoon, they don't make themselves evident. However, we've done a lot of work this year on rewriting along with the state board of public instruction. We are rewriting our rules and regulations. Some of those were not all clear. We could not understand. And that got us into a lot of confrontation situations with parents and students. So we think we've done a good job in clearly rewriting those regulations.
All right, Ms. Reese, we'll start with you on this one. Should there be universal pre-K in North Carolina?
Oh, that's my question. I had thought before I retired that there would be universal pre-K in North Carolina. I was in the state when kindergarten came into place. Our pre-K programs are superior. Any principal can tell you what a difference it makes when a child's been able to participate in a school's pre-K program. I wish I had the funding to put it in every single school. I wish it could be uniform across the state because those pre-K experiences are absolutely critical. The other thing we're running into in this day and age too are all the families that don't have adequate child care or appropriate child care. And it would be a tremendous help across the board.
Ms. Kinsey?
Yes, my oldest daughter, Tricia, actually was in the first kindergarten class at Parkway Elementary School way back in the day. And we were so excited because we didn't think there was going to be an opportunity for her to be in kindergarten. Like you said, it made all the difference in the world. She thought of herself as not being a good reader before she got into that program. We thought of her as not being a good reader, just maybe one who didn't concentrate But after she went through that program, it was just like a rocket sending her into space, and she was successful the rest of the way through school.
Mr. Henry?
Absolutely. We need preschool programs at every one of our schools for every child that would like to be there. The reason being is that studies show, and all the studies show, it's not like I don't have to quote one because they all show the same thing, that the earlier you intervene with children, the better off they're going to be. It's just that simple, particularly children with disabilities. The sooner we can get a hold of them and start working with them and their parents, the better life they're going to have. And I'm absolutely 100% in favor of early intervention.
All right. Well, with all that in mind, here's a question from the audience. Talk about your position on reinstating pre-K at 3 schools without pre-K. Lone Rock, Bethel.
Or, absolutely, the only problem is paying is their children. The reason we had to scale back was money, and that's a terrible. I swore when I became a teacher, I would never not do something because of money that I would pay for it myself. But then I realized I couldn't do that, and so this is really important. So.
Mr. Henry?
We were able to have one back at the Parkway through the Lucy Brock cooperative effort flat with Appalachian and put one through Lucy Brock out at Parkway School. So that was one back. We need to get them back in every school, like I said before. I would have not one in every school. I would have enough in every school that every child that wanted to be there could be there. Lucy Brock is a child development center on Appalachian's campus where they teach teachers in people that are getting a degree in birth through kindergarten. And most of these folks are preschool type teachers. And so we were able to do a cooperative effort. We provided a facility at Parkway School, and they provided the teaching staff. And it's a cooperative effort, so we were able to open another preschool out there.
I was looking to see if our chief academic officer was out here in the audience tonight, because every time I go through the board's offices, I stop at her office and I say, where are we with figuring out a way to get pre-K at least back at Mabel and then start working on the other schools. One idea I've suggested to her, and when I was in Central Services for Watauga County Schools and was the director of Title I programs, we had to have so many normally developing children in a classroom if we had disabled children so they would have role models. And one of the things I said, I'm not opposed to having some parents who might want to pay for the services so that we can have those normally developing children in with children that have disabilities or special needs. I don't know if funding from that direction would be enough to help us get a program started. I also know that Avery County Schools has the Scotty bus that goes to a different place once in the morning, once in the afternoon, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And so they hit 9 sites during the week. And children, whether they have special needs or if they're just normally developing children, can come to that bus to work with a pre-K teacher. So, you know, there are other options out there, and I really am, like I say, pushing especially our chief academic officer to look at that.
You think it's important?
It is important.
All right, Mr. Hendry, what kind of oversight should be given